Now, you're saying to me that if I am the treasurer and I have somebody that's going to go out and buy something for the neighborhood council, maybe we need water, whatever it is we need, I'm gonna wait 5 days for my money? It could be anything. This is absolutely insane. The city council members don't give a big account for $270,000 they get for their discretionary funding. They don't have to account for their petty cash, they don't have to account for how they spend it, they don't have to account for anything. We're part of the city too. Why are we treated with such mistrust? You're going to have people that abuse the system in every way, every walk of life, no matter what. You can't prevent it. So meanwhile, the people that are out there really trying very hard to volunteer and do for their community, they're getting chastised and punished for something they haven't even done yet. It's ridiculous. It discourages people that want to volunteer and do. So there needs to be a better system than this. And I have to tell you, when I was treasurer, I'll never do it again. You'll never see this face running for treasurer because it was a pain in the butt. I'm more excited, I'll tell you that.
Anyone want to comment on that before the next speaker?
I think it needs to be fixed.
Yeah. But not the way you want to do it.
Who's up now?
Well, can I also mention that, because you brought up council office funds, their discretionary funds, and how they're how they're done with lack of accountability. And I just want to mention, and I don't want to I don't want to fight, but I want to respectfully disagree in that the city does have systems set up when council offices spend their money. They have to go through either a council legislative process or CAO processes, but they're set up. They're not. Correct. They should be more transparent, and there are ways to get that information. But I think what you're seeing is that there are standards, a standard process set up for council, and it's done kind of in their sleep, which is probably where the transparency is missing.
We never see it.
But I think that those sort of standard setup is kind of what may be something we try to set up in talking to neighborhood councils about this sort of thing.
Hi, Mary Kites, I'm Historic Highland Park Neighborhood Council interim treasurer in I guess 2001 or so. Served 2 terms as treasurer, 1 term as president. I came back after our last treasurer resigned a little while ago, and so I'm here again. I think we got to kind of change the paradigm here just a little bit. I've got a couple of questions. One is 10, 12 years ago, if you wanted to have a voice in City Hall, you had to go in as a neighborhood group, chamber of commerce, some other type of entity. The city's granted us this system, this charter reform system, and some will argue that yes, the valley was going to secede and so on, so we had to develop something. Those of you that have gone to the NUSA conferences know that many cities throughout the country have neighborhood organizations that don't do half of what the city of LA has done for these councils. Yes, things are not working very well. Yes, I have some demand warrants that currently are sitting on the back burner that just found out the other day aren't getting paid. But I think we need to change our paradigm here a little bit. The city can't do it all. I heard a couple minutes ago that nobody wanted us to be like a nonprofit. Well, Greg Nelson said, 8 years ago, that he saw neighborhood councils forming nonprofits to seek more money. The bottom line to a neighborhood council is to organize, to advocate for your community. The little bit of fluff that you do with your community improvements for the school, for the boys club, and I've done it. Those are nice, but that's not the main purpose. So I know I'll probably get beat up when I leave this room. But nevertheless, I know there's many neighborhood councils in this room that have sought partnerships, that have brought in $20,000. I can tell you a lady in our community brought in $18,000 for a guardrail because she was savvy enough to meet with the department and try to make something happen. So neighborhood councils are a tool to empower us. So yes, the system is slightly broken. Can it be repaired and fixed? Yes. Don't stab us in the back while you're doing it. Naturally, I know, I don't know how many people in the room here trust the mayor that much, but nevertheless, that's the dilemma we have. So, thank you.
One of the little side benefits, of having, and you can do this, you can get a nonprofit to be your fiscal sponsor, whether or not, we actually move the funding program in that direction. But nonprofits can take groups like neighborhood councils, be your fiscal agent, and you can do fundraising or grant writing. But that's one of the things that would absolutely be structured for all nonprofits if we move in that direction. But you could still set that up anyway.
Tanya Vanicard, West Hills Neighborhood Council. It's been bandied about that it would cost us 8 to 14% of our budget in order for a nonprofit to write our checks. Right now, it costs us nothing. Why should we give up $4,000 to $5,000 of our $45,000 in order for a nonprofit to write our checks? We in turn are paying the nonprofit to do our work, and the city is paying for the nonprofit to do our work. So the nonprofit makes out both ways. Secondly, there's 91 neighborhood councils. We probably have 91 different accounting systems. I know in our neighborhood council, we have submitted things 4 to 6 times, and they have gotten lost in the office. You give me a staff of 18 people, and I'll tell you, you will have a finely run machine, okay? You don't need to have a different department. You need an effective manager who can put together a system, and then the department runs within the system. Right. Okay?
You would think that would be the case, but Claudia Dunn is actually a very effective manager, and I haven't been able to
She
get her.
hasn't been the manager, and this problem's been going on since before when
Well, she
I
was the
came on
assistant general
3.5
manager.
years ago.
Yeah, I'll let that one slide. Let me say one other thing, just so you hear it from me. Keeping the $45,000 per neighborhood council was something that I could never have delivered that, except for the fact that we were selling all the council and everyone else that the oversight of the funding program would come from that pot, right? So it's, budget advocates are aware of the conversation, but it's always been conceived that about a 10% cut was coming from the $45,000 to support the building of a new system for. Now that may or may not happen, right? But that was the way in which we sold no cuts to neighborhood councils, to the city council, and to other folks that wanted to do a much larger cut. So the $45,000 was always understood when we got that through, is that the managing.
That was our 10%.
Okay.
No, you got that, that was the previous year. There was no cut this year.
A cut is a cut regardless of what name you put it in.
But what other
We
cities
haven't
haven't taken a cut? I mean, come on, people.
Thank you, Sid Goldman, Vermont Hills North Neighborhood Council. Thanks for coming. I have a couple comments and a couple questions. I hope this meeting exemplifies a change in recognition of neighborhood councils. It's inconceivable to put forward a major suggestion of doing away with an organization without consulting neighborhood councils. Mr. Frank alluded that he did not have room to discuss. There's a whole group of people here that have interest. And to me, it would seem to me that we need some sort of interaction so to solidify, much like we have with EWP, we have a memorandum of understanding. Same sort of thing maybe with the mayor, that he wouldn't act in such a haphazard way without discussing with the people he's affecting. One point. The second point, I'm not a legislative expert, but this